Good Monday morning to you. The time now is 10:01 a.m. You're listening to WDBX FM Carbondale. The show is Talk of the Town, and I'm your host, Amy Fox. Hopefully you had a great weekend and are ready to start the work week off on the right foot. We have Mr. Daniel Booth in studio this morning, the superintendent at Carbondale Elementary School District 95. It's always a pleasure to have you in studio.
Hey, always good to be here, especially this time of the year as we're gearing up to get those babies back in school. I know parents are excited, and I know teachers are getting ready as well. So thanks for having me.
And you have 1 year officially under your belt as superintendent. Probably a whirlwind of emotions.
Yeah, you know what? It was, I tell people that it is the toughest work I've ever done in my life, but also the best work. And I wouldn't have it any other way. I'm fortunate to work with great people. I'm fortunate to be able to serve this community and our students in this manner. And things are really looking up in District 95, which means things are looking up for Carbondale. So I'm excited.
And you did a lot of different things last year, both internally and then externally. If you want to talk about maybe some of your accomplishments or proudest moments throughout the last 12 to 14 months.
Yeah, I think the first focus that we had coming into last year was to make sure that we were able to share our story with our community. Mm-hmm. There's so much good and so much negative that's out there about education in general that we wanted to make sure that we were able to put out what exactly is occurring in our schools on a daily basis. So our Director of Communications, Stephanie Esters, we worked to make sure we had a Twitter presence. We worked to make sure we had a Facebook presence. And her work wasn't to go create stories. It was go to report and share the things that are happening on a daily basis within each of our schools. So we did a great job with that. I was impressed with our teachers' ability to help to recognize where we're at so that we know the next steps in our growth process. So that was amazing. And now I know that we have a new website that just launched on July 1st that will allow people to go see just our district and information that we have going on, and it'll allow them to gather information. Our big hope is that as individuals begin to move into the town of Carbondale, we know that their first stop is usually the internet. So we want to make sure we've got a good face out there that people can get the information they need, and then we want to make sure that our doors are open for them to come in and actually physically see, touch, and feel what our district has to offer.
And change doesn't happen overnight. It's can be sometimes a long process, but you have more things that you're working on in this upcoming school year.
No doubt about it. And we're really taking an attitude of having a continuous improvement process. And when you're dealing with students, when you're dealing with people, things always change and the needs always change. So we have to be flexible and recognize where we're at once again and what's needed to be able to serve the population that we do have. One of the things I'm most excited about coming up this school year is we'll be working with entities and community stakeholders to begin a 5-year strategic plan process. We'll be working with administrators within the building, teachers and staff, and then also community members to start that process here in August. We've got a team of about 36 people who will take part in that. And their job will be to help recognize and share the things that are most important to us as the Carbondale community, to put a plan in place, and then also be able to track that plan over the 5-year time frame. We'll have information on our website on it so that people can see, and it'll be public. It'll be, this is who we are, and this is what we want to do, and this is what we're doing to get there. So I'm looking forward to that, and once again, it'll be something that we'll be able to share with anybody that wants to know what our direction is coming up here.
And it really seems like there is a focus on making sure not only folks here in Carbondale, but beyond Carbondale know exactly what District 95 is all about and what you're doing on a day-to-day basis, showing that transparency.
No doubt about it. I think that schools are the hubs of communities, and especially when you talk about the elementary level, when you're dealing with students in our district that are between the ages of 3 and the ages of 14, we get to see parents bring their kids to school on their very, very first day. A lot of times kids are excited and parents are emotional, and sometimes it's the other way around. Parents are excited and kids are emotional, but one way or another, it is the beginning for many of our students. So for us to be able to have a clear path laid out and have an inviting environment where we want our parents to be involved. We want to make sure that our doors are open to them, because one thing you'll learn about specifically the pre-K to kindergarten, all the way to third grade level, is that you can never have enough hands in those classrooms. And students will make you feel welcome. You walk in there to volunteer for a day to read or to watch recess or go to lunch. Kids will come up to you and talk to you, and or they'll come up to you and hand you a book, or they'll hand you some blocks to help them build. So, it should be an inviting environment, and we want to make sure our doors are open to our parents to be involved and assist with educating their child, because it's a partnership. We have to be on the same page as parents and as a school district, so that we're sending the same messages to our kids, so that they're not confused about what's right and wrong and what the direction we need to be going educationally.
And, you talk about you educate kids ages 3 to 14, and you think of what happens, that transformation from 3 to 14. I mean, there's some really big fundamentals that happen in those primary grades, and this is the first step in the education process, and you want to make sure that when the students leave at 14 and head over to the high school, that they do have this strong foundation in place so they can succeed in high school and beyond.
No doubt about it. And you know what, quite honestly, that was the biggest draw for me to leave the high school and come to the elementary district. One of the things that I was most excited about was still having the ability to have an impact on the high school. I know Steve was here last week and talked, and the high school is the place to be, and it is a place where students do learn, and they're able to see their goals and dreams come to fruition as they're trying to go into a college or career. But they have to have a solid foundation, and that foundation is built at Carbondale Elementary School District 95. So our hope is to continue to help build a solid foundation. We want our students to be able to read. We want them to be able to write. We want them to be able to add, multiply, subtract, and divide. And more importantly, we want them to be good people. And teaching those skills of civility, of social justice in some manners, and just even the ability to treat others with empathy is a huge deal.
And one of the things, if people aren't originally from the area, that's a little different about Carbondale Elementary School District 95 is you do have attendance centers. So you're not sending your kid to a building K through 5. They're all kind of broken up into several grade levels. So kids do get those small atmospheres to learn. There may be 1,500 plus people in the district, but not all of them are going to be in one school building.
No doubt about it. And some of the pros of that is just the fact that we've got dedicated age level and grade level specialists in each of those buildings. But the biggest plus to having attendance centers is the diversity in our buildings. Some areas and some communities have what's called community schools, which means all the kids in this neighborhood go to this school. And in Carbondale, it's all the kids in the city of Carbondale, they go to this school when they're this age. And it kind of allows them to be in a cohort type of status and prepares them for those relationships for even as they're going through high school. And when I first came to Carbondale in 2002 as a student, and when I student taught at Carbondale Community High School in 2006, that was one of the things that was most intriguing to me, was just how communal the kids were. There were students of every different ethnicity and background, and they were getting along and loving one another in a communal environment. And it was something that I wanted to be a part of, and now it's a place where my kids are going to grow up and experience those same things. So I never would have thought that when I came down here as an 18-year-old. Almost 20 years ago, but it is something that it was attractive to me, and it spoke directly to my values, and I'm proud to be able to raise my students in this community to be able to experience that.
And going back to something you mentioned earlier, you have launched a new website for the district, and I've taken a couple of tours of that website, and everything is super easy to find. You have all the information on there about registration, school supplies lists, upcoming events, ways for families to get involved. So really cool new thing to provide to families within the district.
Yeah, one of our biggest focuses last year was on a lot of our internal processes and systems, and this year we are really focusing on being more external. The strategic planning process will be a part of that. I know that one of our biggest goals within that process will be how we can get the community more involved in our schools, because it's so important. And the website is a part of that as well. And another area that just within the district that we're working on this year is just a renewed emphasis on technology. So we hired a new director of technology, Robbie Clark Stokes, who is a Carbondale native and had been teaching second grade in the district for 6 or 7 years. He's doing a great job with renewing our technology and a whole nother level of organization, as well as a whole another level of focus on making sure that our students and our teachers have what they need within their classes to be able to keep us not behind the curve or with the curve, but ahead of the curve. So he's doing a great job with that. When you look at our website, what you'll see is more pictures. You won't see as many words. You'll see it'll be visually more stimulating and easier to look at, and it's something that we're proud of. And that's, once again, it's going to be a continuous work in progress. We've got our district page open right now, and in the coming months we'll have school pages open for each individual school that will have links to teachers, and teachers will have pages for their classrooms. So it's going to be scaffolding all the way down to right where our students go every single day, and we're starting with the district level though.
Great. And I even saw lunch menus on there. So, you know, if it doesn't make it home with your son or daughter, there's still a way for mom or dad, grandma and grandpa to access lunch menus and other important information on that website. So great work on that. Also, online registration currently open? It
is open. Online registration opened on July 15th. And it'll be open until August 8th. Now, that is for returning students to the district. So if you were a student in our district last year in any one of our buildings, you can log on to our Tyler system within our website, and you can register for classes this year. If you have questions with any of that, our secretaries are in each of our buildings starting today, so they can be able to help you with that. And then we also have new student to the district registration, which happens on site in each building, and that's on August 2nd. So those things are available, and once again, our secretaries are available in each one of our buildings starting today to answer any questions that people may have, and any assistance they need with getting their kids ready for day one.
Great. And the first day of school, what is that magical day?
That magical day is August 14th. Wednesday, August 14th, our students will be there. It'll be a half-day attendance. Our teachers will come back August 12th. We'll have in-service days August 12th and 13th. Our students will come the morning of August 14th and have an early dismissal at 11:45, and then our teachers will come back together and do a little more training. So our teachers are more than ready. They've worked their tails off this summer training and getting ready for this school year, and it's going to be a good year. I'm confident in that.
And anything else you would like to mention as we begin to enter into the 2019-2020 school year?
Yeah, no doubt about it. I just want to encourage people to continue to stay involved. We really want to make sure that we're keeping people aware of what's happening in our school district. We want to encourage parents to get to know their principals, get to know their teachers, and I want to encourage the community to, once again, support your school, support your students. When you see them walking up and down the streets, ask them questions and encourage them to continue to be the best they can be, because we all have to do it together. This community has to do it together, and we are doing it together.
Great. Lots of good information. Daniel Booth, Superintendent at District 95. Thanks so much for joining me this morning.
Thanks for having me, Amy.
And we're going to take a short break and get you some announcements, and we'll be right back.
Good morning, this is Alicia with the City of Carbondale, here to bring you this week's calendar of events. On Monday, July 29, 2019, beginning at 12 p.m. to 1 p.m., the Carbondale Public Library presents the Brown Bag and a Book Discussion. Each Monday at noon, the Brown Bag and Book Discussion groups meet over lunch in the meeting room. Bring your own lunch along with any book, DVD, or article you would like to share. Coffee and tea provided. All are welcome to join this friendly group. For more information, please call 618-4 618-457-0354. And on Tuesday, July 30th, 2019, Carbondale Chamber of Commerce will be hosting their Networking at Noon event. The event begins at 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. at Pagliai's Pizza in Carbondale. For more information, go to www.carbondalechamber.com. Also on Tuesday, July 30th, 2019, beginning at 3:30 p.m. to 5 p.m., the Carbondale Public Library will begin Teen Tuesday Uno Tournament. Do you have what it takes to be crowned Uno champion? Well, play to see who can get rid of all their cards first in this fun classic card game. There will be a prize for the champion. For more information, please call 618-457-0354. And on Wednesday, July 31st, 2019, it's the last series of the Brown Bag Concert at the Town Square Pavilion, beginning at 12 p.m. to 1 p.m., hosted by Carbondale Main Street. For more information, please go to carbondalemainstreet.com. And on Thursday, August 1st, 2019, the Carbondale Chamber of Commerce presents the ribbon cutting for Travelplex Travel and Cruise. This event will take place at 2150 West Main Street, beginning at 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. For more information, please go to www.carbondalechamber.com. For more information on these events and others, please visit our website at WDBX.org or CarbondaleTourism.org, or you can reach us by phone at 618-457-3228. Thank you and have a great week.
Good Monday morning to you. The time now is 10:17 a.m. You're listening to WDBX FM Carbondale. The show is Talk of the Town. I'm your host, Amy Fox, and I'm joined in studio this morning with Mr. Steve Quinn from Northbridge Technology. Thanks so much for joining me.
Thanks, Amy.
And I know we do have lots to talk about this morning, especially with the phase out of Windows 7. So what do you know about Windows 7? This has been a system that's been around for 10 years?
Yeah, it's been very popular. It's been one of the best ones that Microsoft has put out. Not all of their operating systems are great. Some of us remember 98 and Vista and things like that. So, yeah, 7's been really popular. People are reluctant to move to 10 because 10 has been a little iffy, but they've got all that sorted out. But, yeah, in January 14th, coming up in about 6 months, Windows 7 will reach what's called end of life. So it's not going to explode or anything, but it's going to Microsoft will not support it anymore. So it's kind of a big deal. There's also a server operating system called 2008, which was sort of partner to Windows 7, and it's reaching end of life as well. So it's a big deal that people really need to be paying attention to.
Is this common for Microsoft to phase out?
Sure.
Is it like every 10 years or just depends?
It depends. There's always information on their website a long time out. I mean, we've known this is coming for a long time. Like we sent letters to all of our clients in basically January 1st this year to help them have a whole year to plan for it. But they sunset their products because, technology changes so much and they want to make sure that you have the latest thing. And it's a great way for them to sell you something. So.
And what do people need to do if they are using Windows 7 currently in the next 6 months?
Sure. Well, they need to, if people are not planning already, they definitely need to plan to upgrade or replace. The big issue is security, right? Because, people are always finding vulnerabilities and backdoors and stuff in Windows. Mm-hmm. And that when they find those things, they exploit them. Microsoft says, hey, we found this, people are making a mess, so they patch it and fix it, and then we move on with our lives till the next one comes out. But in January, they're not going to patch those anymore. So especially if you're an organization that's in finance, like banks that are governed by FDIC, if you're medical and you're governed by HIPAA, if your business takes credit cards and you're governed by PCI compliance, you will have a problem come January 14th if you run Windows 7 machines in your organization or business. So definitely the time is really, we should have been planning already, but if not, definitely start planning and put together an implementation plan, talk to a professional about how to get your systems upgraded.
And this is something you don't want to wait until January 1st to start thinking of. You want to kind of plan ahead, start now within the next month or two. So you're not waiting till the last minute, because there will probably be a lot of people out there, a lot of organizations who do, and then there's waiting lists.
Shortages, and we've already seen that this year. Earlier this year, Intel had a shortage of processors, with people kind of starting on that process. So I fully expect that, come November, December, it's going to take a little bit longer to get a computer when you order it. So, definitely, like I said, if you're not in that process already, you need to be starting it very soon.
And if you aren't familiar with Windows 10, are there any big differences between Windows 7 and Windows 10 that people may have an adjustment period?
Sure. It is one of those ones that is quite a bit different than the one before it. So especially it looks different. Okay. The menu is very different. It was built originally to work as a touch screen as well as a regular screen. So it's visually it is different. People have a hard time navigating the menus and stuff. So, that's why some people are reluctant. For one thing, everybody loves Windows 7 pretty much, but 10 does look a little different. There are ways around that. There are things that you can do to make it easier for yourself. But it is different. And there are some things that it's not really, there are some things that are not really business friendly. And so for our clients, we kind of alter it to make sure that it works great for business.
So after this January cutoff date, people won't be able to use Windows 7 at all?
They can use it. It'll continue to operate. That's not a problem, but it just won't be updated. No security patches, no updates, that sort of thing. So it goes from being a really favorite operating system to becoming a security liability in your organization overnight, basically.
Wow. Yeah. That's crazy, especially if you are dealing with confidential information such as someone's finances, someone's medical records, things of that nature.
Yes, and those types of organizations are governed by compliance, and so they really have more. They have more at stake, I think, because you could become uncompliant if you continue to use those systems, especially on the server side. We think of desktops, but servers are definitely as important. So.
Right. And, this leads us into kind of our next topic is backup and data protection, always on the forefront, or always should be on the forefront of everyone's minds.
Nobody thinks about it until they lose something. Just in the same way you pay insurance on your car, you don't really think about it until you need it, you have an accident. And if that's when you find out if you had the right protection. So we do a lot of work with data protection. And, there's so much out there right now, ransomware, malware, hardware crashes, or just some user error, right? We've all clicked on the wrong thing or deleted the wrong file, right? So these are the things that protect us from that. So there's lots of different options, but definitely something every organization should have in place is the right kind of backup and data protection for their organization.
And I think everyone's probably heard of the recent case at one of the local radio outlets, and just trying to prevent situations like that from happening to other local entities, because right when you think it can't happen to you in small town America, it happens.
Right. We see that a lot. We've had plenty of companies that have called us after the fact, and so we'll protect them from the next one. But we really want to protect people from the next one before it happens, not after it happens. So, and these are these are not complicated things that you can do to protect yourself. It's just a matter of making it a priority. And there's a stat that is kind of shocking, but there's a stat that says that in America, somewhere I've seen different, like 30 to 40% of businesses who have a serious data loss. So they either have a server crash and lose a bunch of stuff because they didn't have backup. They don't come back. They're gone. Their business is gone. They don't recover. That's a pretty big deal when you think about losing everything. And I talk to businesses who are terrified by that, but still they don't do anything about it. So you have to take action.
And the protecting all of your computers. I mean, it doesn't cost $1 million. It can be something that fits to everyone's unique budget.
Yeah, and that's a great point, because there are many different options, and they are built to scale, so you don't have to have a massive expense there. And then you just have to get the one that fits you, and then you weigh that cost against how much it's going to cost if you have to recover everything.
Right.
So.
And do you find that more people have problems with laptops or desktop computers, or is it just kind of all across the board?
It's all across. Servers, if you have a business with a server, that's your primary. You really have to protect that, because that's mostly where your data is going to be. But there's definitely ways to protect individual computers too. Key systems, we usually tell people if you have got a key system that holds a lot of data, that's the one you got to protect. So I just ask people, how much can you lose and how long can you be down? And that's the answer to those questions. And it's not always, I can't lose anything and I can't ever be down. Some people can lose some stuff. Some people can be down a day. You answer those questions, then you build a backup solution around those answers.
And is that something that Northbridge can help folks with?
Yeah, sure. We do that all the time. It's one thing that we definitely want to do, and we definitely protect a lot of organizations in this area. So, yeah, we can design that solution, make sure they have the right stuff, and test it, because a backup is only as good as the recovery.
Right.
And people might sleep at night thinking everything's good because they've got a little hard drive plugged into their server, but have they ever tested it?
And it makes me think people on the other end are getting more creative and how they go about hacking different accounts and different systems. So it's always best to be prepared rather than be the victim of another.
Don't be the next story, right? The next example.
Yes.
If the ransomware is a great example, because it can be pretty clever. It can infect your backups if you're not doing it right. So there are solutions that are they can't be affected by ransomware. So we can definitely happy to talk to anybody about those things.
And is there anything else, Steve, you would like to mention? Maybe I forgot to ask you just about the importance of having a backup plan and protecting data.
I think when you look at it as a big picture, whether it's the data or the Windows 7 issue or whatever, you just have to be vigilant in protecting the information that you have, the systems that you have, the customer information that you have, and make sure you talk to a professional about doing that right. Because I find a lot of people, they're just trying to do it the best they can on their own, but they don't need to. I mean, there's professional help that can make sure that they have what they need. So make sure you pay attention to it, think about it, and then put the right systems in place.
And if people do have questions either about backup and data protection or the conversion from Windows 7 to Windows 10, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
Sure, they can call us. Our number is 618-565-0471, or they can go to our website at northprotech.com.
Great. Steve Quinn, thanks so much for joining me this morning.
Thanks, Amy.
And that does it for me. I hope you have a wonderful week, and we'll be back next Monday.